The last thing I want to say is Toronto Raptors, man. I just have to talk about them. I really don't want to. Aaron Baines has been just brutal this season. They really need to get a center. Um, Another disappointing loss to basically a G League team in the Oklahoma City Thunder, who were running guys out there without Lou Dort, without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, without Al Horford, kind of their top three players, and the Raptors just couldn't get it done. Lowry situation, I think he's got a foot infection now, which is kind of frightening. And while I would hate to say this, but it almost feels like a little like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, Kyle, you want to just sit out a little bit longer. Let's make sure you're healed so that you can either get paid by someone else or we bring you back next season. We have a pretty good draft pick. We're going to make a run at it again next year. Uh, it feels kind of bad to say because obviously Kyle, he wants to play every game. But from the Raptors' perspective, if you can keep him out and make sure he's healing as long as possible, then you have better chances at one of those picks. And they are, I think there's like three teams in the East behind them, all with one less win. So if they can just lose a couple more games, they'll have pretty good shot at a top three pick in the lottery. And uh, while it would suck for a season to go out like this. Again, I just keep saying it. This is a write-off year. You cannot expect anything from a team that's had to move to an entire new city and do entire new processes and lose their two most important like centers at the defensive end. So Raptors, keep fighting, keep developing, but if you lose tonight against Golden State, not a problem, my guys. Just keep falling down those standings. We're tanking for Evan Mobley. I think would be the perfect guy, but I you can't get your hopes up too much.
Man, it's just the question is like this for the most part is a core that's ready to put it on now. And I don't know if a center power forward out of the draft is going to be ready to contribute in the way that we need them to. With like Pascal, OG, and Fred, and maybe we get Lowry for one more season. I I wonder what kind of production or hope they could get out of the draft realistically to contribute next season. And if not, what can they do to make sure they have that piece so we don't have to repeat this season?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the very minimum, it's a piece you could move for
Yeah.
someone who's unhappy in the offseason, like a Bradley Beal or I don't know, whoever else you would want to mention. But yeah, it's never a bad thing if you don't have a shot really at making a deep playoff run anymore, and you're falling deeper into those uh standings and moving up on the lottery odds. Never a bad thing from a long-term perspective. And while of course the guys want to win now, Freddie, OG, Pascal, they're still all under 28 years old, so you still got like 3 4 5 year windows with these guys. And other pieces that you could put around Gary Trent, of course, with his career high with the Raps, 31 against Oklahoma City, flashing some potential there, which is really exciting. And he's a guy that a couple of years from now, we could be saying, how did the Raptors manage to swing for this guy, right? So they've got the young pieces now to really build around. Like the average core of this team now is really young, despite them having already won a championship and being in win now mode. They are still young, and so if you get a guy like Mobley or even like falling down the draft, I don't know, like a Jalen Green, Kuminga, a Corey Kispert, even it's a guy that you can plug in and still fits their timeline if it's a 4 or 5 year window.
Yeah, not to mention, we talked at the start of this season about the timelines we saw for the development of OG and Pascal, saying when you look at Malachi, that's what's realistic to expect. So hopefully he's kind of sunk a little back under the radar to, we were hoping like we were going to get this defensive point guard stud to just come in there and help. But maybe not next season, but the season after is when we really start to see that stock pop back up as well.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to have one more note on the NCAA. Of course, we've got the Final Four coming up. It should be awesome couple of games, Baylor, Houston, and UCLA versus Gonzaga. It seems like we are on a collision course between Baylor and Gonzaga. the top two teams in the nation ranked 1 and 2 coming in. And of course, this was a game that was scheduled very early on in the college basketball season that everyone had circled on their calendar and then got postponed due to COVID-19. It was a game that I was settling in to watch. One of the few college basketball games I watched during the regular season. I was sitting down around 12:30 to watch it, and it came through that it had been canceled due to contact tracing. So we have not got to see this matchup, but these two are the best two teams. And it really feels like this is going to be our national championship, which is what people have been waiting for a couple months. So pretty intriguing storyline there. Uh, Two teams that are just really, really solid. And the top guy left in that you're going to want to watch is Jalen Suggs. And I guess Corey Kispert too could end up being a top 10 pick. So these Gonzaga kids, definitely have your eye on them as we get closer to the NBA draft.